Can we put it? Let's see if we can put it in the party treasure.
Then everyone should also get a long rest. I'm sure you used abilities over the weekend with Guff, so just make
Yes, we
sure
did.
you're at full.
What did you call it, Jacob? The summer blossom?
Yep, Summer's Blossom.
Summer's blossom from Erica. Oops, Erica. Okay, and I'll go grab the details really quick. Is that? Do you remember if that's in roleplay or if? Oh yeah, this is in roleplay. Never mind. I'll admit it.
There it is.
All right, and then who wants to recap last 2 weeks ago?
Mm. Oops. Oops.
Yeah, there was a little bit of oops last 2 weeks ago. That's true.
Well,
Good
hold on,
recap.
sorry. Was trying to finish the putting the summer's blossom in there. Okay, what happened last time? We had we finished fighting? Had we finished fighting, or were we wrapping up fighting?
You had finished before.
We had finished.
We went to the circle with the tents.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we went up to where Althea had seen like a cloaked figure when she was flying and scouting, and it was where she tossed the javelin. And then she'd also said that there was like some sort of magic circle there, and so we decided we should go check that out. The one guy, I don't know what to call him. He, he strikes me as a monk, but he was collecting food for like the poor and the homeless, the needy. So he was there. That exchange was a little weird, but he did leave when we asked him to. And then Johnny and Althea gave him some money, and then we explored the campsite thing. Rowan got to study the circle. Althea broke the circle, and then we studied the stuff that was like in the little tent thing. Which is where we found the note with the locations that we were checking out. So like the Elder House, the Apothecary, the First Breath Temple, and then the Stadion. There were also 2 coffins there, vampire coffins, and Jeremy ate them. So, not sure what's going to happen there, but Gadiel went off, or when we got back. No, that's later. When we got back, we told Gadiel about them, and he went off to go look for those vampires. We found a sword. Johnny found a cool sword that seems to do a lot of damage, or extra damage to humanoids. And then we came back. Tonist saw some gnomes. That was cool. Made some friends. Because they had cool, like, magical ability things. So he was chatting with them, asked them to help fix up the tank. That's when we saw Gadiel. Gadiel went off after the vampires. We wrapped up a couple of other things, but I can't remember exactly what they were. I remember Althea asking for a cart, like a horse and a cart, so that we could ride it home.
Yeah.
You were broken. You needed to not walk.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Definitely. Rana fell asleep on the way. We got back to Chiron's. Trying to remember what happened next.
Rested?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we did. We got our long rest.
Food was had, conversations were had, and sleep was had.
Yes. And then Althea, Johnny, and Tonus went back to the wall, dropped Tonus off because he was working on fixing up the tank, which I believe is now fixed.
It's drivable.
And Tonus was also making better friends with the gnomes, and they offered to teach him some things if he would go get some of their lost artifacts in the spine of the last dragon. So I believe Tonus has requested that the party do that. Or he might just be driving the tank there, and if we want to stay with the tank, then that's what we get to do.
Yeah.
What's next? Oh, Johnny and Althea went to the Temple of the Manifest. What is it? The Eternal Temper? Something. So that Johnny could repair his armor and work at the forge.
Yep.
And
Get it
then,
recentered.
And then Rana and Rowan stayed at Chiron's house because Rowan was going through that spell book and identifying some things. And then Rana was, purifying, consecrating the poor leather.
Falling apart at a slow pace.
During a rest day?
Yeah, falling apart at a slow pace.
Yeah. Rana was meditating with the bells and working with laying to rest the poor person that the book was made out of, apparently. And Ambrose was off all day on the town with Valis. So Ambrose has a new boyfriend, I guess, kind of.
Go Ambrose.
Yeah. And they had a conversation, and Ambrose disclosed an alarming amount of information about Rana to Valis.
Sure, it'll be fine.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Discretion, not the better part of Ambrose.
Right. What else? I remember we all
to be
came
fair,
back...
Ambrose doesn't really know what's going on, so probably not.
That's true.
That's very true. Very true. Very true.
Yeah, totally fair. Did I cover everything? We all got back together, and then we decided to check in on the locations because they were clearly objectives for the undead. And
We went to the Elder House first.
Yeah, got the door slammed on our faces, sort of. It was a rude
Was this all before? Was this all before or after the long rest?
This part was after.
After the long rest.
Oh, okay.
After the first long rest. So you still had a level of exhaustion, and Rana had 2.
Oh yeah. After that first long rest, Johnny would have used a greater restoration on Rana to drop her down to 1 level. So the second long rest would get her set to rights again.
When is the second long rest happening?
This game night, or this not game night, but the in-game night, which we'll get to at the start of the actual session once the recap is done.
Oh, okay.
I think Rana actually refused the greater restoration.
I
did the first time.
Yeah.
If Johnny's gonna offer again. But yes, after the first long rest, Rana had refused the greater restoration because she thinks we should save that for a rainy day.
Yeah, you don't pay my sub. You don't pay my sub.
That's true. So after the first long rest, we checked in all the different locations. The Elder House was rude, so we left. The people around the poor people that live in the slums around the Elder House seem very scared of Duradir, whoever that is. But we went to the apothecary, bought all of that person's healing potions, and then she was okay. Their shop was okay. Somebody had defended them, so that's good. And then we recapped or kind of glossed over the first life or the first breath and the Stadion,
right,
in the role play. But I think that's the rest of the... Yes, because we had to spend like half an hour or something trying to figure out the silly party treasure because we're not very good at divvying that up and making sure everything gets sold.
No, we're really not.
Yeah, so just to do that quick summary of those last two places you wanted to go. Both of them are littered with bones of the and bodies of the undead. The First Breath Temple had consecrated their entryway chapel, which hadn't been done when you guys were attacked there. And they don't really have much to go on as far as a false priest. They think maybe that could be just how the undead think of the god of life. But yeah, thank you for stopping by. And the Stadion took quite a lot of quite a larger assault and has more than just the zombies and skeletons that you had been seeing, bone claws and ghouls and wraiths, which is unusual because there's no clear indication of where they got in to the city. Stephen made it back there all right, and if requested, he'll rejoin the group to be that communication aid with Mask if and when it's needed.
Groovy.
But
And then
that
there
makes
was
me wonder because Mask and all of his followers were at the stadium. So,
Mhm.
was the necromancer more interested in killing Mask and his followers than some of the other objectives? Just a thought.
Yeah, it's a good point, or it's a good question. It did apparently seem to see a larger assault.
And then there was some mention of possibly tracking them down, see where they came from. Which someone wants to do a survival check.
So I would still have the 2 levels of exhaustion.
Yes.
So I will do a survival, but I believe I'm rolling a disadvantage, so
It's a rough roll.
yeah.
With the what?
Sorry, no, I'm just laughing. Rolled a 2.
All right.
That's what you get for refusing help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the traffic of the city, it's it's been a day of people walking around over the tracks of the undead that had attacked, so there's really nothing to go on.
Okay. Well, at which point Ronald will shrug and look at the rest of the party. It's like, okay. Thought it might be a good idea.
Well, I can always ask some of these people if they saw where any of the undead retreated to.
The undead did not retreat. They attacked until they were all destroyed. They came from the north, though. We'll tell you that.
Came from the north. All right.
Check
I
the-
wonder if let's see. Look at Three Rivers. I need to look at the map of Three Rivers.
Yeah, they came down.
Um,
Oh, yeah. Let's put everyone there. Just to
So I wonder if they came around and flanked and came through another one of
they
the
came
gates.
down that road.
Which means it's entirely possible that they came in through
What's
a
38?
gate there or a gate there.
Wealth Alley. Well, also remember the reason Rana wanted to at least try to look into that is because there was that underground cavern that we found. So if there's any like bastion or tunneling being done, might be better to identify that sooner or later, even if we don't ourselves take full care of it. That makes sense.
Can we hire a tracker?
Yeah.
Rana, if you're having difficulty tracking them, perhaps we should hire someone who is less exhausted and more skilled in that.
I mean, we can, but first let's just go that way, the way they say they came. They said they came, and see if we can find anything.
Althea will nod her head and extend her hand as a after you sort of gesture.
Okay, so Rana goes that way, where they were directed.
Okay.
Althea follows.
Yeah, with the additional information and that way, give me another survival check.
Sorry, I have to get all the way into my survival.
You got those. Oh, I guess there's no token on this map to. Not the best, but you do find some bone fragments in the dirt and pounded in would indicate that the people told you the truth, that they came from down that road.
Okay. So we keep. Is there a trail to follow?
I mean, it's the road.
Okay,
Follow.
so we'll keep going.
Okay.
I follow you, madam.
The road continues into a area with much more extravagant households, giving rise to the name of the street itself, or manor houses and places with enclosed yards and multiple stories, yards that look out from battlements. They eye you warily, but you're free to walk through as please.
Are we between long rests? I'm just curious where we are on this. Have we finished recap and done long rest for the day?
Now we finished recapping, but we're now.
Okay, we haven't hit the new date yet. Okay,
No.
Thank you. Johnny looks really preoccupied and, like the player, not really tracking very well.
Althea will occasionally touch his arm and refocus him.
Thanks.
Yeah, give me one more survival check. We'll see what happens.
If possible, Rowan can try and help. I imagine they.
Actually, Johnny can give it a shot too, because I've actually got that skill.
Well, you're also just as exhausted, so it's just a matter of removing her disadvantage.
Johnny doesn't have exhaustion anymore. He only he was down to 1 level at the last long rest, and that took care of it.
You had 2,
Only
and
long
then you
rested
long
once.
rested. Now you're at 1.
Oh, sorry. Okay, because my it shows 0, so let me put that 1 back on there, just for record keeping. Thank you very much.
So, do you want me to roll at disadvantage, normal?
Yeah, normal's fine.
Not as bad as it's been.
Not by a long shot.
All right. Standing around, or walking slowly through and trying to find anything, looking at the sides of the road where people haven't been walking. This area has much less traffic just due to the the status and wealth of the people that live here, and the fact that there aren't really any businesses. Um, and so, at partway down, you start to see larger impressions of uh, footprints, I should say, that are evidence of maybe the bone claws, because they are larger creatures that haven't quite been obscured by the traffic of common folk. And this picks up, and you start to see scattered among other footless prints of, uh, you know, fleshless footprints. And they all sort of converge on this smaller home. Most of these are quite large and 2 or 3 stories, big yards, but this one, it's just a 2-story home. First floor is of stone, and the second is wood, and uh, its yard isn't enclosed. It does have a back area that's fenced off. There's fruiting bushes on either side of the path leading up to the room, or to the door, I should say, not room.
Okay.
And looking at it, and really, it probably caught your eye and made you double back just to see, so that there's this purplish light flickering from a window on the second floor, and on the first floor, 2 of the windows on the front of the house are shuttered, but you can see this greenish pale light illuminating the frame of the shutters, sort of creeping out just a little bit.
Can we see that light what time of day is it?
It's in the afternoon.
Okay. How close are we to sunset?
It's pretty close to sunset. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we have our winner. Now the question is, do we want to go in?
I'm game.
Let's do it.
How
Yeah.
you feel, Rana? How you feeling?
I will probably stay in the back.
Well, yeah, but how are you feeling?
I am tired, but I am okay. I'm willing to go in and at least take a look. Hopefully we don't find too much of a hornet's nest. I don't know how much energy I have for that. Definitely not a cavern. If we find another cavern, we'll just tell someone and go, I'm going back to bed. But if it's just a house, I think I can handle a house.
When is it ever just a house?
Right? There's no such thing.
We run into very few just a houses.
Certain. Okay, so you approach the front door, and I don't know who.
Is Johnny casting Greater Restoration on Rana?
He just leans over. He walks over to her, puts his hand on her shoulder, and says, "You're going to be okay." And yes, he does.
Okay.
Doesn't make a big deal of it. Just does it.
Smart. That'll teach her.
Pretty much. Pain in my ass. Thank you for posting the picture of Dante, dear. My cat dog.
Cat dog.
If you go on the meme channel, you'll see what I mean. Anyway, so Rana should be down to like 1 now or 0. Which one is it?
She's at 1.
Okay, so yeah, you're at parity with Johnny right now. So, all right, let's do this. And Johnny will pull up his shield, take out his mace of undead slaying, because that's what seems to work around here, and knock politely on the door.
Is that the super vigorous knocks?
No, just a tap, tap, tap.
Never knocked politely in my life. No, I'm just kidding. That was weird.
Tap, tap, tap.
Knocking ever so vigorously tends to make people panic.
There.
That's not actually Dante, but that is such a cute gif.
The grinning dog is not Dante. The one that's sitting in the box, that is Dante.
Okay, Dante is also
Cheeky little
adorable.
tap.
He is our good boy.
Okay, sorry.
A
Didn't mean
good
to.
box dog.
And so Johnny's going tap, tap, tap on the door.
Rana will ready her bow.
You hear some shuffling from inside, and the door opens, and there's this hunched over man with wispy hair, has a cane, and he smells of rotting meat.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And
Ugh.
he, let's see, there's a pink sort of prism floating around his head, and
Okay.
he looks you over, tilts his head to look at your companions. That's
Did you say a pink prism is floating around his head?
So it's like an ion stone.
I think it's an ion stone, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember what pink does, though. It's probably charisma something.
he says, "Can I help you?"
Maybe I can help you. You don't look so well, sir. Is everything okay here in your home?
Yes.
Insight check. I want to see if okay, no, because that's only going to tell me he thinks everything's fine. Yeah. I'm going to do a perception to see if I can see past him to see the interior of the house and any telltales of problems. Like, entrails, blood, body parts, etc. Aside from this, Tara, you're still on mute.
Go ahead
Aside
and do a perception check.
Hang on. Did that wrong. Oh, nice. Nope, everything's good here.
Yeah, seems fine. I mean, you can see the sort of wall sconce given off it's a greenish flame that there's no heat coming off of it, but it's bathing everything in a greenish pallor, which doesn't look very healthy, but he can't see
Sir?
anything amiss. To the right of the doorway, you see a small table with some candles on it
Mhm.
and a small statuette of
Like-
the Shield Maid.
Religion check. Oh, is she obviously the Shield Maiden?
Yep.
Althea,
Yes.
Shield Maiden altar inside. Sir,
Indeed.
I need you to maybe come in. I'm concerned for your well-being and the well-being of others inside this home.
He blinks at you and he smiles. It's a very toothy smile. His teeth look a little sharper than
Mm-hmm.
what you'd expect for an old man.
Mm-hmm.
He's got all of them too.
Okay.
He steps backwards. Come in.
Johnny will step here. Oh, gotta go in, and then here to clear doorway.
Ah,
And then I'll
close the door.
Yeah,
I closed the door. Sorry about that.
Locked one. You can see inside. You can see a sort of ashy fireplace. Doesn't look like it's been used in a while. Sacks of coal next to it. There's a game board sitting atop a table and a rug. But yeah, see
Is
a
that
sort
the
of
statue?
thin. Yes,
Okay.
you can see sort of a thin layer of dust over most things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Is the floor dusty?
No.
So, sir, just out of curiosity, this green flame on the wall, what's that all about? It's not necessarily what we would call natural, nor is it safe inside a domicile.
Oh, it's quite safe. It's a gift, you see, from a mage. Always lit the home.
From a mage. What mage, sir? If I may be so bold.
Mm. Oh, it was long time ago. Very what is it? It's been in the home generations.
Have you been in the home for generations, sir?
No. Sort of laugh.
You don't look well, sir.
Rude.
No, he's actually got genuine concern in his voice. You don't look well, sir, and I'm sorry, but you need to air out your home a bit. It's a bit musty, if you will.
I have a quick question.
Hmm.
For Jacob.
Oh.
Oh, okay. There's one answer. The second question was, where does on this map, where does the trail of undead lead to? Is it like up to
Oh,
this front door, or
yeah,
is this
yeah,
over
to the front
here?
door.
It is the front door.
Mhm.
Okay. So Rana.
Oh, there's a lot of you. He steps back.
Johnny's got his undead mace slaying mace in the mace of undead slaying in his hand. And he'll just like gesture around with it, not necessarily waving it at the guy, but just gesturing it around with it. It's like, I can't help but worry about the neighborhood and what would happen if that fire got out of control. Is there a way of I don't know, not as dousing it or toning it down?
He puts his
Lucky-
hand through the flame and pulls it out. It's not fire.
What is it exactly?
It's a magical light that lasts forever.
May I investigate the statuette, and its situation?
Of course.
Rana sidles up to Johnny and says, "This guy is not alive."
I'm well aware of that.
Oh, I'm alive.
There are 11 undead here.
He narrows his eyes at Rana. Missy, I'm the only one here.
Missy.
Well, we'll have to agree to disagree.
I think you.
When he says he's the only one here, I wanted to roll that insight check to see if he's lying.
Yarp.
He's lying.
Yeah, he's shifty and uneasy. In fact, he's starting to try to usher you back out with after Rana's proclamation.
Sir,
I think that I don't need visitors today. I'm quite tired. And like you said, I need to rest for my health.
sir.
Perhaps one of us may aid you. Is this house dedicated to the Shield Maiden?
From across the room?
Can you tell which doors they try to open?
No. Hey.
I think it's this front one.
Wow.
Yeah, this front one is like.
Are you trying to get in?
There's an extension that lets me change doors so that you have to be next to them to like toggle them.
Nice.
And feeling like I need to implement that.
With this
No.
previous group, yeah.
I've always wondered why that wasn't a thing.
So
Ambrose has got really
he
long
says
arms.
the shield. No, it's we pray to it from time to time, but she sometimes answers.
Has she
Sir.
answered you recently?
No, I think that it's best if you turn around now.
So Rana, okay, Rana is going to use Turn Undead. Can I do that? Is he in range? I'm sorry, I don't use this very
30
often.
feet. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
definitely in range.
Yes, don't let me do anything I want to do. No, go ahead. Do your thing. There's a reason Johnny is staying within arm's reach of him. But it's okay. Do your thing.
Because if he's not undead, it won't have any effect on him.
Mm-hmm.
So he can.
Yeah,
we
it's like
can
saying
stop.
Cristo around a demon.
Right.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
You guys catch the navigation name?
I just noticed.
Just a house. Ah!
It's just a house.
Okay, is there something I need to roll, or I'm using turn undead on this guy, my channel divinity.
What is that?
Dave,
Wisdom?
Armbrate.
What is that?
You take a level in
Turn
Paladin?
undead.
No, she's got a level in cleric.
I
Oh,
have
okay.
several levels in cleric.
Okay.
She's
Wisdom.
a wep-
Wisdom
she's a
save.
wep- she's a wet behind the ears acolyte. Oh. That was fighting words, I know.
Why did it
Yeah.
do nothing?
It's a wisdom save.
Do you have Destroy Undead as well as Turn Undead, or just Turn?
I have Destroy Undead. She does. I don't think you have enough levels, do you?
He has
It's like a
advantage.
level, oh, maybe not. It's like a level 5 thing.
Spell DC. Oh, I guess he saves. I think it says spell DC 15.
Okay. So he does save.
Uh-oh. Well, that's not what I was expecting.
Hmm.
Sir, we do not mean to
Big
put
bird.
you...
All right. After that,
Oh,
his
crap.
form starts to shift, muscles bulge, his clothes rip apart, and standing before you is a rather ravenous-looking creature with bones that are protruding from its flesh, heavily muscular, red-eyed, and I think that's probably a good time for the old initiatives.
Can I get in a cheap shot while he's transforming?
Meow.
I've got my mason in my
Swing down
hand.
on him while he's anamorphing.
I have been stating he's got his mace in his hand. He's gesturing around with it. Can I get a cheap shot in while he's transforming? No? Okay.
Had to ask, though.
I will be right back, actually.
Rip.
Man!
Frick. Does anybody have vicious? What? No, what is it?
Vicious Mockery?
Vicious Mockery. Yeah.
No.
I don't know,
This guy's name is Egbert. You should get like advantage just for that.
Does Rana have any levels in
He got
Bard
a dorky
hidden away in
head.
there too?
We haven't
No,
actually...
I've been
we
a
haven't
cleric since
actually
we started the
introduced
second
ourselves.
campaign.
We have neither introduced ourselves nor asked his name, so, you know.
Nope. Introductions are pretty much superfluous at this point. Hello, my name is Johnny. I'll be your murderer today.
Superfluous.
He was the aggressor. So
No, Rana was the aggressor.
I mean, technically, what I did didn't do anything.
that's true.
Because he saved,
So yeah.
but you attacked.
Well, and he
something-
he kept
That's
asking
actually
us
a
to
good-
leave.
He
It's
did
actually a
ask
good
us to leave.
question.
It's an attempt
Multiple
to
times.
dominate his will.
Maybe
There's a
maybe
difference.
he knew that he was about to change and he was trying to protect us. So, you know.
Yeah, that always
Dr.
happened with
Jekyll
Big Cat.
situation.
Ooh, werewolf rules.
This guy is an undead. So
Yes.
Rana's going to bring him down.
Go.
We barge into his house. Johnny's trying to be polite about everything. Rana comes in and goes, "Nope, that's an undead dude." And here you go. Boom. Crap didn't work. Okay, we fight.
Yeah, and his name is Egbert, so
And his name is
Trying-
Egbert.
Well, I mean, we know he's an undead, so why are we trying to be civil?
that's fair.
Trying to be polite. You've
I
had your
didn't-
mace out this whole time, homie.
It's
Yeah,
true.
but-
Look,
Did I hit him with it? No. Could I have? Yes.
we didn't know he was undead. He could have just had, a suppurating wound like Henry VIII.
No,
Rana
Johnny,
knew. Rana knew.
the
he was undead.
inside
Oh,
check to
okay.
see if he was lying about being undead.
Johnny
know
pretty
he's
much knew he was undead from go. I just wanted to see how far I could get inside before things started happening. Got further than I thought, not as far as I wanted.
All right, Rana's go. He
What she
transforms
said.
and yeah,
He's a transformer.
He's a transformer.
More than meets the eye.
Someone mentioned werewolf, which I thought was funny.
Because here comes 1, or 2, or 3, and
No,
they're all undead.
That will hit. Smashes into him.
Gosh. We have another day like this.
Mm-hmm.
He's now barely injured. Wow.
See, you go pick a fight, and this is what happens.
That'll hit.
I don't know why I waited.
For some reason, I cannot read your D8s.
Really?
Yeah, like not even a
Interesting.
little bit.
I can read them.
Like your
Interesting.
D20, fine. But the D8s,
Is
nonsense.
D8 under your languages?
Are
Hmm.
you throwing arrows over Johnny's shoulders? Is that what's going on right here?
Of course.
Yeah. The acid splashes into his form, melts away his flesh. You see that it starts to restitch itself before your eyes. It
Oh.
is
Crap.
Rowan's go.
Wonderful.
That's unfortunate.
Stealing.
Yeah.
Despite this, it still
Okay.
roars in pain.
Rowan
I'm done.
will. Yeah, he said it was Rowan's turn.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I guess, yeah, we should have clarified that you were done. Anyways, Rowan will cast Bless on himself, Ambrose, and Rana.
Okay.
And then he'll do that as a bonus action and then dodge.
All right. Althea's go.
Okay. This is going to suck mightily. I have a distinct impression. But going to move here and here. Dang it. And flank the guy, and I've actually got longsword going right now, so we're going to
Okay.
I got my shield up. Attack. Normal. Does that hit?
It does.
Excellent. I'm going to add Divine Smite to this. So there's that damage and Divine Smite. Normal. And I'm going to strike at him again.
Maybe it's just all D8s, I guess. I guess my D8
Does that
language
hit or
is
not?
working.
It's D8s all the way down.
The 13 does not.
Okay. That's fine.
He seems resistant to the sword damage.
Wait, hold.
What about the radiant damage?
It takes all of that. Burns his flesh away.
Quick question. Why wasn't Althea attacking at advantage?
Oh,
I
that's
don't
a
know.
fine question. Because I didn't remember to roll it that way. Shall
Yeah,
I
go ahead
do
and
that
roll it.
again?
Mhm.
Let's see. Where did it go?
So roll him once again.
Oh, come on. Where did it go?
Catch.
Longsword. Sorry. Attack.
Yeah, that hits.
There we go. Okay. So damage. Because I can't cast. I can't do Divine Smite twice in a turn.
Correcting from before. Okay. And yep, that also hits the.
Flashing and radiant. Wait, what?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
your divine you have improved divine strike or whatever.
Oh, that's
it's called.
right. I do.
It is now Johnny's go.
Okay, Johnny's going to attack with the Radiant Mace of Undead Slaying because that's what we do. Will a 15 hit?
It does not.
All right, that's me.
Where did you roll it? Oh, yeah, you did roll it. Advantage.
Yes, I
Hi.
did.
Good morning.
Tonus.
I'm going to, I guess, push past
And you don't hit twice?
No, I don't.
Rowan here. Let's get right here.
Not everybody has multiple hits per round.
And I'm just gonna smack him a few times. Let's see, spells. I want to do. Yeah, I'm gonna do Branding Smite on top of my first attack. Cast Branding Smite. And I'm gonna smack him with Sturm. I forget. Do I get advantage from them flanking him or okay?
That does hit.
What is the Oh, interesting. So, yeah, I figured that damage out. 9 radiant for sure. And then
6 lightning and the what is it? 7 bludgeoning is halved its resistance.
that's what I figured. Okay.
Oh, no,
Egbert
no.
is injured. Oh no. I'm gonna smack him again if you don't
You
mind.
made him mad.
I don't mind.
Egbert down.
I didn't think so. Just
That'll hit.
I hate that it's how it's doing this.
Yeah.
8. Okay. Oh, 20. Okay, that okay, so the number okay. That's another
5 force, and then the 12 bludgeoning is halved.
this one. Okay, 11.
Yep.
And then Liger's gonna smack him.
Doesn't that require a bonus action to direct him?
Oh, did I use? Yeah, you're right. Well, wait. Branding Smite. Oh yeah, you're right. Never mind.
He is displeased. Watch him regain some health
Ah, I was
as his
hoping
form
the
regenerates.
I was
the Radiant
hoping
didn't
the
stop that?
Radiant would stop that.
Yeah.
Nope. He then will try to bite Johnny.
Nope.
Disadvantage. Well, sorry. Oh, you said nope. Never mind. I forgot.
He
I don't
will then-
remember what his AC is.
He will then try to claw Althea.
Nope.
And finally, he'll claw Tonist. We'll see.
Nope.
Nope.
Oh, no.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
That is a rough round
He's
of rolls.
just flailing.
That was a rough round of rolls for everybody.
And Ambrose is good.
Ambrose is just gonna
He's over
back
there
up.
playing checkers.
I'm just checking out the chess table at this point. This thing's fancy.
It's
Yeah,
it's a three-dimensional 3D chess from Star Trek.
As a bonus action, he does pawn to e4.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm gonna use my Eldritch Blast on
Scandinavian.
him.
First, I had arrows flying over my shoulders. Now I got an Eldritch Blast whizzing by my ear. Nice.
That will hit.
Oh, it's not letting me roll the thing again. Okay.
Yeah, I noticed that as well, that it makes you click it each time you want to attack, and then you have to go back and... So I'm wondering...
That must
Oh,
be
that's
new.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not how that was last week.
No, and I loaded up all of the modules before I left, so it should have...
It might be a back end update.
Yeah,
Like there.
that also hits.
Speaking of backend updates, where'd Valis go?
Wow. Damn.
All right. You bitch. I think Valis was Valis last we left him. I think he
Tied
was
to the
just-
bedpost?
With us.
Not that it matters. I just wanted an excuse to make a joke.
Yeah, I'm sure.
He's just standing at the doorway, just watching.
You go get him,
Along-
honey.
Along with Steven.
Oh yeah. Stephen too. 1 second.
The whole
he's-
family's here.
He seems resistant to spell damage.
Son of a bitch, that's all I've got. Okay.
Do you want to
You
push him?
have a knife or something.
Nah, I'm not gonna push him. Although I did remember I have 3 of these things for the second time. We'll do 1 more.
6 of them. That will hit.
Because resistant doesn't mean immune.
No, it does not. And that brings us to Rana.
All right. Let's try some sharpshooter.
That will hit.
Good damage.
Ooh, he looks injured. That also hits. Oh, now he's badly injured.
Rana's apparently done messing around.
It'll be Rowan after that. I don't think I like this injured, uninjured thing. I'm probably going to disable that and go back to the health bars. What do you guys think?
Oh, is it like based on
Oh, I like
stages
you.
of their?
Yeah.
No,
Hmm.
I mean, if you like it, that's fine. I just...
I prefer the bars because then
Yeah, I've seen the bar.
you don't have to pay attention to the chat to see them.
You
We can
should
see
be
the
able to...
magic.
If
I
you
mean,
mouse
yeah,
over it, it says.
Yeah, if you mouse over it, should show, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You can see
it
the
does.
magic
Still more
pistol.
work than I want.
Yeah,
to
I don't see a health bar, but I do see that it says badly injured, which I
Yeah.
kind of like. I think
Yeah,
it adds
I-
to my emotion.
You can do both.
Right.
Is both an option?
Yes.
Porque los dos.
Yep. Porque no
Alright.
stuff.
Noticing the thing healing, Rowan's gonna try some chill touch.
Nice.
Ooh.
Hey.
Leave that-
Hey,
Hey.
love to see it.
Got him.
Oh, it didn't
Isn't
even.
it?
No.
Oh, damn.
That's a lot of...
Good heavens.
That's a lot of damage.
Yes, it is.
All right. And that'll make it Althea's go.
Oh, okie dokie.
Why does it say that Egbert's seriously fucked up?
I could add that instead of badly injured. Or like if they're ever on 1 hit point,
All jacked up?
that'll hit.
Magic pixel.
Okay.
Magic pixel, yes.
I'm going to.
Fantastic.
And let's add the divine smite to that.
What?
Oh, he's
That-
dead.
That's
Okay,
not
never
right.
mind.
That's not right.
Oh,
He's not now dead. Okay.
he's back.
He slumped,
Right.
got up, and says,
That-
I'm here.
I'm gonna refresh my page, see if that fixes whatever weird dice thing is going on.
Is the
And
divine smite
smite.
taken
Okay.
right now?
Yep. All right.
And once more. Attack. Advantage.
That
Damage.
also hits. That's weird. Roll a d8 again. Your damage didn't. Oh no, you have to be rolling in with 2 hands to get the rerolls 1s and 2s, right? Oh, never mind then. Okay.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, don't worry
Okay.
about it. I settled it. Johnny's go.
Alright.
As the creature howls in pain.
I'm gonna shut his mouth with a mace to the jaw.
Oh gosh.
He politely declines.
Ooh.
Nope, never
Sure,
mind.
I'd
He
rather
doesn't.
not. Oh, doesn't matter.
No, I insist. And then the divine strike that goes along with it.
Make sure that you roll your. You should have rolled your. I did it again. What the heck? That is too easy to do.
Should have rolled what?
You should have rolled your variant damage on the mace.
Oh, versatile damage. Oops.
Yeah.
All right, so let's try that again.
So
Sorry
give
about that.
me another 2d6. Okay.
And then the divine strike. Versatile as well.
No, just regular damage on
Okay.
that, I think. I don't think the first.
Ah. It's all radiant damage.
And then Thomas, go.
I was in the middle of typing you a message. At some point, can you give me a second login so I can log in as Liger? Because managing two characters on the same screen is difficult. And it won't let me duplicate my tab like I used to do.
Yeah, I can do that. That's easy enough. Or I say it's easy, but I have to actually go in and reset everyone's password when I make new logins, which is fine. When I do it, I just give you the same password, so there's never been any issue. But I can't do it right now because I kick everyone out. And
that seems like a bad way to. Okay, whatever. I'm gonna smack him.
I agree. You should be able to, like, without going to the token or the character sheet, you should be able to click on Liger and go to, like, oh, it's not on his, Force Empowered Rend. If you go to features and just click there.
No, I know that.
Just as a shortcut. Okay.
I have it as a macro. I don't know.
All right. I mean, I'll still do it. I just I wanted to give you a solution for the time being. If you didn't have one, that will miss. Actually.
18 misses?
Yes.
Okay.
He's got very thick hide.
Oh, did he like morph? Didn't notice.
Yeah, he's a big undead werewolf thing.
Oh, okay. I knew that. Can I not? Okay. I have to. Okay. Well, we're gonna do drag then.
Huh? Nope, keep going.
Well, that missed even worse.
2 5s. That will miss.
Your controlled actor does not have. Okay, so I have to click on Liger to use the macro. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, I've made a mistake. Can I do that? Okay, now I'll click on.
That will hit.
And that is all force. So that should, in theory, all hit. Hell yeah. That's all my gubs and gibs.
He does not heal and goes, I don't like this place anymore. He roars and bounds through this, crashing through that door.
Attack of opportunity, thank you.
All three of us.
Well, unless he disengaged, right?
He did not because he needed to crash through the door.
Well, that's 3 attacks of opportunity then.
Disengage doesn't work with me anyway.
Ah.
I guess we'll see if she sentinels him to the same spot. Johnny hits.
Ooh, good rolls.
So does Tonist.
Does extra attack work on attacks of opportunity?
No. And Althea also hits.
Rip, bozo. Those rolls are garbage, though, for me.
Wow. They kind of all for all of us.
I think I did 11. Yeah, I did 11.
Did my damage even show up?
No.
You did. I see 19. Or is that the attack to hit?
What was the attack?
Oh, I don't see it then.
Okay.
I guess that's still.
Oh, now I see it. 14 slashing and radiant.
5, 9, 4, 5, 7.
And
Oh, yeah. Wait a
let's
minute.
see.
Forgot something. Hang on a minute. Forgot something.
Son of a bitch. Sorry, my right-hand screen where my character sheet is and the chat bar keeps turning off. That I hit a creature with an opportunity attack, so its speed dropped to 0.
Oh, so he's not running anyway.
He's not running
Not
anyway.
anymore. All right. Well, I guess he'll give everyone the claws and the nips. He bites at Johnny,
Mhm.
and he will. Looks like that hits.
Yeah.
For 23.
Transferring that to the armor. Is it necrotic by chance, or is it just regular damage?
Interesting.
Okay.
All right. He gives the claws to Althea. Well, one claw. Which,
I'm at 22, so
okay, that'll hit then. For 37,
holy
which
crap.
of which 11 is necrotic,
Um,
and then
am I
one for Tonus.
resistant?
My.
I think I'm resistant to necrotic.
Disadvantage.
Yes,
Disadvantage.
I am resistant to necrotic. So, how much of it
so
was
30,
necrotic?
16
Sorry?
still
30,
hits.
31 instead then.
Okay.
Do you say he still hits?
16 hits, yeah.
So then he hits Tonus for 39, of which 12 is necrotic.
Good lord.
And it brings us to Ambrose.
It's hard.
Yeah.
After he claws everyone, he licks
Oh
his
my
claws
God.
and is happy for a moment, and then is probably dead. We'll see.
You know.
He went out the way he came in.
Fighting. Clawing, scratching, and
Amber will
snarling.
go Eldritch Blast.
That will miss.
You do have bless, so add a d4 to that.
Oh yeah.
Oh. How do I do that?
Just roll a d4.
At the bottom right of the chat, there's the silhouettes of the different dice. You can just pick one of the d4s up and toss it into the
Oh, there we go.
the
That's
screen
18.
like that. That will miss.
Dang.
Okay. This is my
That
second.
hits.
There we go.
Okay.
And one more for the road.
That also hits.
Love to see it.
Okay, and that brings us back up to Rana.
All right.
Did I skip
Oh,
Rowan last time?
No.
No.
No, he did the
Rowan.
chill touch.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
Rowan
right.
will
Chill
touch.
touch. That will
Yeah.
hit.
Let's go!
Takes off his. All right. Yeah.
wow.
Oh, maybe.
The arrow smashes into his jaw, rips it away, and melts it down as he falls to the ground, dead.
Again.
Yeah, for the fourth
For-
time
for-
this round,
fourth.
this fight. We'll see.
Okay. There are 10 left.
The pink stone drops to the ground, clatters into a corner, down a grate. No, I'm just kidding.
Go retrieve that stone.
His clothes lay in a mess around where he was standing. And
Well, now that we know this guy is evil, Ambrose steals the chessboard.
all right.
Alright. Johnny's got the Ioun stone. Let's check the rest of the house.
Yeah.
10 more. Also be careful. Ron, I'm
This
seeing
might
some things
be extremely bad.
here.
I feel like we should give, if it's fortitude, we should give it to somebody with low.
What?
I'm just securing it. I'm not.
Oh, understood.
Yeah, I'm not saying mine. I'm just securing it until we can identify it properly.
Ion.
Yeah,
Ion.
Althea's looking through this door and saying, guys, this could be extremely bad.
Let's go check it out.
10 on the second floor, 1 in the southeast corner, the other 9 are in the northeast corner.
All right,
Just-
what's directly in front of me, Rana? Because there are many graves.
Can Rana sense any undead in this
Ooh.
room? Or are they all on the second floor, Jacob?
All on the second floor.
Okay.
Oh, so I'm not actually seeing anything here.
I'm not
You're
sure
seeing a
what
bunch
these
of
are.
graves.
I'm seeing graves.
Yep, a bunch of graves. Some look disturbed, others are still covered fully.
Okay, because
The-
I tried to move forward one, and it says I collided with a wall.
Yes, you are standing in front of a window.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, and this is locked?
Yes.
Oh, oh, so this isn't okay. This is outside where all the graves are.
Yes.
Okay, I thought it
Oh,
was a
that's not-
door, and this guy had like
Oh.
a weird crypt room.
Oh, I also thought that.
Oh, that's outside.
Yeah, I thought the same thing actually. It's like, what the hell kind of room is this?
To the right, there's a small room. Well, small. It's 20 by 20. There's a dining room with plates set out. They don't look like they've been used often.
Can I search
Layer
the
of
back
dust?
for keys?
Yeah, looking around, you don't see any.
He doesn't have any keys on him?
Oh, you rifle through his clothes that had ripped off. You can find a small key ring. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 keys upon it.
Okay.
Althea is going to pick up the small statue of the maiden. Or how big is it?
It is about 8 inches tall.
Okay, she's going to pick it up and murmur a small prayer and then slide it into one of her pouches.
Where do we want to go? Oh, sorry, go ahead, Jacob.
With Rana having the keys, I'll just unlock these doors so you can go in whatever order you want.
Oh, okay.
Looking outside, you can see, yeah, that's a small graveyard. There's a bench sitting under a tree, the small little bird bath next to it, and like a shed at the back of the walled off area.
I was about to ask, does that look like a creepy murder shed?
It's got one of those like slanted roofs where only one side's higher than the other, and then it slants down.
Hmm. So it is a creepy murder shed.
Should we check
Mhm.
it real quick? Is everybody cool with that?
Sure.
Do we?
Well,
Oh,
so we're getting.
let's be very
Did you
careful walking
sense
out into that
any?
graveyard, please.
I agree.
Did you sense any undead coming from the shed?
No. And it is in range.
Because if you are getting readings of undead upstairs, just in case any of them want to like flee, we might want to check that out before we check out the shed.
Oh, good point. So go take care of them first and then finish exploring the house?
Yeah, because even though they're undead, they can still hear things, so they probably heard the scuffle down here. So they're probably at the very least sort of agitated.
Ready
Good
for
Unless
work.
they're
it.
just zombies.
Yeah.
Johnny looks at Ambrose and goes, "You, my dude, are one intelligent mother. Good, go
Yeah.
you."
Are we supposed to be able to
Good
see
point.
the
Johnny, do you want to lead or shall I?
things in the graves?
I'll lead.
Yeah, those are just
Okay.
disturbed graves. Some are disturbed, some aren't.
No, I mean
Oh, okay,
the
they're
circles.
just
If you
supposed to
hover
be
over them, they
little-
say uninjured.
Oh, yeah, that's just a function of the fact that I had to use tokens for them. They aren't things. Don't worry about them.
Oh,
They're-
okay.
Those don't represent creatures. Johnny enters a small area at the foot of the stair. There's a bin with a few hunks of fresh meat in it, just raw hunks of flesh.
There's-
Leave him
Did you
alone.
say dibs?
Hmm?
Did you say dibs?
Maybe?
Oh. Fancy.
Coffins.
Yeah, Johnny opens the
Ooh.
room. It looks like some sort of a carpentry station set up to the left, and there's some coffins in different states of completion.
Any of them occupied?
No, they're empty. There's no dirt in any of them.
Okay. Nothing to see here. Move along.
We might want to set fire to them before we leave, but not right this minute, obviously.
Ambrose, what you got in that room, buddy?
Set fire to empty, unoccupied
Let's
coffins?
see. This door's
That
locked.
way they will remain unoccupied.
It's
Can
a
I
coffin. They're
unlock
not
that
supposed to
door?
remain unoccupied.
But they won't be potential vampire havens.
Do I need to unlock this door?
Yeah, Brana has a key for it.
I
Oh.
sure do. Do you want me to toss it forward? Or do you want me to... I'll open it.
Okay.
Did you just try to open the shed door?
No.
Yes.
Oh.
Oh, fun.
There they are.
Did you actually
something
open the door, or
spooky
did
here.
you just unlock it, Rana?
No, Johnny.
Oh, I
opened the
just
door.
unlocked it.
Okay, did you
Someone
stand back?
opened
There we go.
Standing around the walls of this room are 9 skeletons. They've got spears in hand. They stand at attention and are unmoving. They make no notice of your presence.
Really?
Anybody want to cast fireball?
Are they?
Ooh.
We've
Seems
seen
like overkill.
undead similar to this before, haven't we? There was a
There's
mine.
skeletons.
That
I
mine
mean,
we went
I
into.
could have used the same token.
No. I mean, there were like undead soldiers that were like at attention like this in the mine.
Oh,
We
those
went
weren't
into
undead. They
forever.
were aberrant.
Vectors.
They
Fun
were infected by the blight.
Bruce
Is that-
is just gonna creep into the room.
They do not move despite your closeness.
Hold on. Remember, there's one more. And that might be the
Both-
commander.
Both north and south near the door are weapon racks and shield racks. They're just basic weaponry.
Johnny's going to go ahead and take a step in just to stop closing the door and stand about here so that so he can keep an eye on Ambrose and keep give him some backup, but not get in his way.
Okay, do we... So these skeletons are like standing up. They're not just like leaning against things. We can tell these are like alive skeletons that aren't supposed to be.
They're,
Right.
they're
They're not like on a post and wire framed together. They are held
Yeah.
together by some necromantic power. There's no tissue,
This
but
isn't like the
bones are
most
still-
goth taxidermy shop.
right. Yeah. I've stuffed their bones.
Don't rattle me bones. We want these things destroyed.
Eventually, yes.
I assume it's not good to have these things around.
Correct.
Should we step out of the room, Ambrose?
Let's see. What's the radius on this again?
I'm going to step out of the room.
Yeah, Johnny's going to when Ambrose gets that pondering look on his face, Johnny's going to go, "I'll be right out here."
Be careful of his orb.
Let's see. 10 feet in every direction. So I think...
Yeah, that gets everyone.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Would have gotten Johnny if he'd stayed where he was.
Yeah, you know. In the room, Ambrose is going to cast Arms of Hadar. Classic.
While you're in
Come-
the room? Isn't that going to get you too?
No, that's the one where like the tentacles explode out of me.
Oh, okay. Nice.
The tentacles explode out of
Classic.
Ambrose, smashing the skelly men until they are dead.
Looks like a
Oh, wow,
big
better.
old hentai reenactment.
Okay, cool. I'm still gonna cast the spell just so it can take the spell slot away, so I don't
Yeah.
forget.
Fine. They
I
make
assume
no.
they didn't make that.
Yeah, they make no attempt to resist and get obliterated.
Pieces, parts. That was exciting.
All right,
What'd you find
well,
out there?
There's one more.
Where is it?
It's probably in this room.
Ah,
Opening the door, okay. Well, we'll just deal with that in a second. When you open the door, you can see a flickering purplish light from a candle upon a small table. There's a skull, and the skull's eyes are filled with two red pinpricks. Well, I guess one per socket, and it's as you're not supposed to be here.
neither are you.
Wait, is this a skeleton talking, or it's just a skull?
Just a
Bob.
skull.
It's Bob the Skull.
Oh, that's
It is
impressive.
not Bob the Skull.
No girly mags around it.
Nope.
Okay. Thank you for going with me on that one.
Next to the skull is a small stone, like tablet that is bloodstained. There's a knife sitting next to it. He says, "What do you mean? I live here."
Oh dear.
I mean, live is a strong word.
You should not be on this plane.
I need a Constitution saving throw from Althea.
Of course.
Ooh.
Ugh, that's not good.
Do you have inspiration?
I don't know.
It'd be on your
It's not
attribute
on,
sheet.
it's not on my sheet, so I don't know.
Then you do not.
It is not check marked.
Right. Okay. You take 42 necrotic damage.
Holy crap!
Oh.
Thank
You-
goodness I'm resistant to that. So just 21, right?
Correct. As you step
Ooh.
into the light, you feel your life force pulled out of your body and
Mm,
sucked into that candle.
Great.
The skull says, "Oh, you shouldn't get close if you don't want to die,"
Mm-hmm.
says matter-of-factly.
Yes, but that's the only way that I can do this. She's going to attack him with her sword.
Attack him or attack the candle?
Attack the skull. Because she can't tell. Can she tell where her life force went?
Yeah, the purple candle.
Okay, so she watched it get sucked into the candle.
Yeah.
All right, then she's gonna smite the candle.
Okay. You start your swing, and the skull says, "No, you can just snuff it out." You're free
He's
to
got a point.
continue the strike if you'd like.
I mean, I can always sweep it back and strike him.
Wait, don't candles and like fires go out when they're near her sword?
They do.
Her
Only
high
Okay.
normal-
magical
normal
ones,
fire.
though, I
Doesn't seem
think.
to be fire.
All right.
Oh,
Yeah, it's normal fire goes out when it's near the halberd, which is strapped to my back at the moment.
Miasma of incandescent
But
plasma.
let's see. Longsword.
Okay. So you strike the candle. It splits in two and tumbles down. The purple light snuffs out.
Okay, so it's now dark in here, but I have dark
The
vision, so that's good.
The skull says, "Heavy sigh."
Says heavy sigh. I love it.
I don't have lungs.
That just makes me have more questions.
Who is your master?
You see the red pinpricks sort of focus on the sword for a moment before returning to Althea, and I don't have one.
Who are you?
Gaius? Pleased to meet you.
Who?
Gaius.
Gaius.
Guys, did you have anything to do with the attack on the city last night?
No, I was here.
But the undead came from this place.
In the graveyard, sure, but I don't have anything to do with that.
Then what do you have anything to do with?
What will you give me in return? I've already
I
threatened.
believe I've already given you quite a bit of my own life force.
That wasn't me. That was the candle.
And who lit the candle, Gaius?
Ymira.
Ymira.
Yes.
Really?
He was
And
here?
where is Ymira?
Well, I believe she's returned to her castle in the wastes.
Well, how did she get here?
So that's her name. That's her castle. And are you her eyes, Gaius?
No. But
Yeah.
yes, Ymira was here briefly. Raised some undead in that small, cemetery out back. Installed her puppet and left. Well, puppet. Hagbert wasn't a puppet, just a misguided, intelligent life form. Not like me.
What are
very
you?
good. Oh, wow. Just a bit of intelligence left over.
Left over?
Oh, yes, they stripped me down to just a skull. Can't you see?
Who is they?
Oh, it's been many years. Some took a little bit, others took more.
What does that mean? What happened?
Oh, well. It's been centuries. Can't go through the whole story with you. Unless you've got a few weeks.
Oh, well, perhaps we'll just take you with us.
No.
And you can tell us, you can give us story time every night.
Nope.
I am not going to lollipop chainsaw this head to my belt.
We're not taking. No.
Well, if we're not taking him, then we're destroying him.
Yes.
I would like to be taken.
Wait, before that, Ambrose is going to cast Detect Thoughts on the skull.
While Ambrose is doing that, Arana is going to ask Gaius if he knows how Ymira got here.
Threatened to destroy me and then ask for information.
Oh, no,
Oh.
That's not a threat. That's just going to happen.
You said you wanted to be taken. So what will you give us?
It's too many rolls. What's the DC on the Detect Thoughts?
It's the same as everything else. I think that's a 17. Yeah, 17.
Ooh, probe deeper.
Ooh. Also, full disclosure, I was kind of thrown for a loop here. I took the feat telepathic on our last level up instead of adding the bonus, and it was like, oh hey, you can also cast the spell Detect Thoughts, and I was like, okay, Detect Thoughts. That I feel like I kind of get that from the name. I open up the description for the spell, and it's like 4 paragraphs long.
I don't want this spell anymore.
Oh no, no. Detect Thoughts can be very useful.
It seems super useful, but I thought it was a lot more straightforward than I was giving it credit for.
Right?
Oh, hey, yeah, you get to actually detect everybody's thoughts in the room. That thing's just a big old
nice.
cone.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's an
God.
area thing.
Oh my,
Not really a card,
seriously? That's
Yeah.
terrifying.
but it smells great. I may not have it prepared, but it's a good one.
So while Ambrose is doing that, Gaius, whose bed is that?
Just destroy me and get it over with.
I
There's
thought
no
you
need to
preferred not
destroy
to be-
him.
Oh, really?
What?
What? Why? Why would you destroy him?
Because he's undead.
Doesn't have a
And
whole, there's not a whole lot that he can do to us.
That doesn't matter. He's undead. He needs to be dead.
Rowan, what are your thoughts on this?
I'd prefer to talk to him, see what there is to learn. And perhaps if reversing the condition is something he would like, we can look into that. If he wishes to remain undead, then I suppose you can have your conversation about destroying him.
Reverse the condition. He said he's been like this for centuries.
Greater resurrection can help.
There are magics.
They're not cheap. They're not easy, but they are possible.
Althea turns to Rana and very quietly says, "It's
Oh, that didn't work.
a skull without anything attached to it. It may have an attitude and a voice, but I don't think it can do a whole lot to us right at this point."
I'm not worried about it being a threat.
I don't know. There are a lot of spells you can cast with only your voice. I'm just saying.
We've also encountered flame skulls on multiple occasions.
This is
No
true.
green flames around me.
They've never talked back though.
And they wouldn't say anything nice if they did.
I
Well,
I
kinda-
would do
Rana?
myself.
Well, Rana, do you trust Rowan? Rana?
It's not a matter of trust. It's that thing is an abomination and needs to be destroyed. It's wrong.
Okay, throwing out the abomination word now? Damn, Rana, I thought I taught you to be more tolerant in our time together.
Rana gives Ambrose a look like no, like just no. She glares
So-
at him.
Ambrose shoots her finger guns and then turns back to Rowan and Althea. So, really quick though, what sort of information could we get out of this skull?
I have no idea.
Okay, Rana.
That's why I'm not entirely on board with immediately killing it.
Rana's just gonna clench her jaw and leave.
Okay.
So you guys can make the
Ambrose-
decision.
Althea is going
Ambrose
to pick up
sort
the broken pieces of candle and stuff them in her pouch.
Ambrose sort of leans around Rowan to look at the skull. Hey, buddy, what kind of stuff do you know?
Centuries of knowledge at my, well, I was going to say fingertips. Teeth? Tips? Do teeth have tips?
I would say they do, yeah.
They kind of do. Like molars are kind of tippy. Anyway,
Canines are especially tippy.
oh, there you go. They're like all tip. So,
Same.
do you have anything pertaining to the like ginormous undead army that's in front of the city right now?
Oh, yes. Well, in front of the city. That Egbert fellow said it was destroyed. Is there still an army out there?
Wait, is there still an army out there? I think so,
No.
right?
How recently did Egbert come to you?
Oh,
Be
he
right back.
visits every midday, around noon, actually. But I guess it was a few hours ago.
A few hours ago. So is he the one who did whatever was done here. Is he the one who lit the candle?
No, Ymira lit the
I'm
candle.
sorry, Ymira lit the candle. When did she light the candle?
Ooh, that was a fortnight ago?
Is this the same house we walked past with the over by Lady Michaud's house?
No.
Okay. Wasn't there also like a purple? Never mind.
Yeah, I don't recall what you were referring to. I have to
Oh, there's
think.
a house where it was like dark, but like magically dark.
Oh, that was Valis.
Yep.
Oh.
Oh yeah, that was him.
Alice also used the lightning bolt.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. That's what happens when you grow up in a cave. Doot. So
Just cave stuff.
And how long have you
It's
been
cave stuff, you won't
here,
understand.
Gaius?
Oh,
In this room?
Ymira brought me about 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Ymira brought you here a fortnight ago, lit the candle, and left you sitting here this entire time. What
She
was your
here
job?
She was here with me for some time. She needed to prepare the forces, as it were.
Needed to prepare the forces, did she? So why did she leave you behind?
Oh, just in case.
Just in case what?
You see, Ymir is a bit single-minded in certain of her approaches, and she didn't think that Egbert was really the right person for the job.
For what job?
Teeth clatter a little bit. Well, you don't seem intent to destroy me, but there's still that other lady.
Or what job?
There's city's rot, and there's something at its core that needs to be snuffed out.
And in this city, what would that be?
People.
Which people?
All of them. You, that one, the woman.
Why? What does Ymira want with this city?
I think it's time that we make a deal, because I still think you're going to destroy me.
I learned my lesson about making deals.
What sort of deal?
Well, obviously you need information, and I need to not be destroyed.
Seems reasonable.
So a little bit of a
Tit-a-tat.
reassurances would be appropriate. I don't plan to tell you anything before we leave this house.
Can stick him in my bag for a while and see how he likes that.
I heard that there was some conflagration planned.
Was that before or after the invasion?
Well, that was you guys planning on setting this house on fire.
Ah. Yes.
We did plan to do that.
You heard that all the way from the other room?
You aren't exactly quiet.
You've got no ears.
I also have no tongue.
Johnny's gonna while they're having their
Coming on to
convo.
me?
Johnny's going downstairs to the graveyard.
God, really?
Very well. I'm willing to take you from here. We can converse.
Hey.
deeper.
Well, I don't know if that's a good idea.
Wonderful idea. I thought of it.
You
If
dealt with
Ambrose
later.
gets a demon
those bad traits.
boyfriend, then Rowan gets a floating skull. It's only fair.
Wouldn't be my first skull.
He's on the path the path of Gaz.
Giving Gaz a run for his money.
Oh,
Can
speaking of
Gaz
Gaz,
fly if he eats this guy?
Hey, while they're upstairs, when Johnny gets downstairs to Rana, says, "Will you join me out in the graveyard to start consecrating graves?"
I would be happy to.
All right, let's go do this.
So busy yourselves doing that.
Yep.
Well, Rana's been walking while they've been talking. Rana's been walking through the house doing
Yes.
that already.
Smudging.
So she's just making her way to the graveyard anyway.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
Johnny made a-
vehicle came from below. Okay.
I'm
Yeah, Johnny-
curious about what's in here.
Specifically went to the graveyard.
Okay.
Just as a peace offering, if you haven't, there's a chest under the bed.
Interesting.
And,
I do appreciate that.
and he says, wink, wink.
Bruce reaches under the bed.
It's a
There's in
mimic.
fact a chest there.
Great chest ahead.
Based
It
on
has
Christ.
some bracers in it, a scroll, and an orb. The orb
Wonder.
is...
Has it been
No.
pondered recently?
It has not. I think that's the identify spell.
Yeah.
Always
well,
identifies as
for
like
a pondering.
To ponder the orb?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll ponder the orb later.
Yeah.
So out in the graveyard,
Okay.
Johnny's going to start over here, work his way through the graves inward, just giving last rites.
All right. So when the orb is pondered and the other items, that's what they are.
Okay.
Is there a
Pretty great orb.
It's a nice orb.
Once we identify it.
That's fucking awesome.
That's a nice orb.
holy shit.
Hurled out of the nearest window. Wow.
That is what the word defenstration means. It's to throw somebody out of a window.
I've
Nice.
never
That's
heard that
great.
word before.
Yeah, there was a 3.5 spell, Sphere of Defenstration, that did damage, but if you were within like 10 feet of a window, it would just throw you out. I think with no save.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So if they
thought
fail the
defenestration
strength
just had to do
save,
with
they just get
Breaking glass.
Scott Pilgrim chucked out the window. That's fucking awesome.
Best results when in a room that has one window really far away, like a big
Yeah.
hole.
What? Okay,
Oh,
I have
so
a question. What if there's no windows nearby?
Doesn't work.
And
It doesn't work.
yeah.
Oh, duh. I didn't. Well,
Reading is hard.
doesn't work outside. Well, okay. What if you're in like a room, like a 100-foot long room with one window at the end of it?
That's
Yeah.
what he just said.
You will
Best
go out
result.
that window.
All right.
Best result ever.
That's the ideal scenario.
Yeah, and the window backs up against a wall 3 feet away across the alleyway.
Oh,
Wham!
no, you want
What
you
is
want a
the
window on
definition
like
of a window?
you want a window at like the 10th floor.
Oh yeah, over a sea cliff
Hmm.
with rocky shoals beneath,
We
So
could
Strahd's castle.
and
basically
piranhas.
boost road up bosses.
Nice.
That's fantastic. Okay.
So we're doing clericy things.
Yeah. So that's taking place outside. Not much to really go over with that.
Until-
Nothing undead is here.
Until we get to the murder hut.
Yeah. It's locked. I can unlock the door. Rana has the key.
Yeah,
Hey, Ron,
once she's done, she'll open the
Yeah,
door.
Johnny goes, "Hey, Ron, you want to go inside the sketchy-looking hut all by ourselves?" He smiles at her, big cheesy grin. Yeah.
She hands him the key.
Awesome.
All right. Opening it up, there's a giant cavern under it. No.
Yep,
It's a shed with just piles of bones inside.
Well, this is horrific. Let's get to work.
Yep.
And Johnny will spend crafting time making wind chimes. He's been with this group a little too long. No.
Wait, hold on.
Bone chimes.
I was gonna say, does Johnny say that out loud?
Johnny does mutter something about wind chimes and then gets to work on consecrating the remains.
Rana looks at him in surprise and goes back to chanting.
What? We all have ways of dealing with horror.
Elves aren't buried. We cremate and then make them into celebration chimes.
Huh. There was a story about a bard who lost his leg and made his femur into a flute. It was pretty grisly, but anyway, and he just goes back to what he was doing.
Would have been funnier if it was his arm. Humorous, maybe.
Wow. Find a corner, go sit in it.
Oh my god.
I think you need to slap him.
I feel like I need to take psychic damage for that.
Roll to save versus bad joke.
No, because Rowan isn't a bard.
Oh, goodness.
We're not quite sure what Rowan is. And that's okay. We don't judge. We just kind of point and laugh.
He's a wizard.
Wizard.
Okay. So with that
the whiz
accomplished,
biz.
Anything else in this room? Like trapdoors, anything?
you look around, pushing the piles of bones to the side and looking at the floorboards. You don't see anything.
All right. Well, just pile them up, bless them all, call it a day.
Okay.
Find. No, I'm not going to do that. I say find the best looking skull for Gaz. But no, not
Inside
doing
the house on the second floor, southeast corner.
that.
That would be an acceptable outcome for Rana.
To give it to Gaz
Give
to
it
eat.
to Gaz.
Just out of curiosity, what type are these humans? Are they elves? Are they dwarves? What are these remains like?
It's a
Because that would be a point of
Norman.
interest for John. Huh? Okay, because that would be a point of interest for Johnny. Because he wants to know what type of prayer would be best. Because if they're dwarves, he does know dwarven rites of passage. Humans, yes. Elves, he would point out for Rana.
Halflings.
Halflings would just get the best he's got. Dominus Homus Corpus Christi, Texas. There you go.
All right. So with that finished, and Gaius sort of sits there because he can't do anything else.
Play hacky sack with him.
What do you do now?
What's that red thing on the stump in the lower southwest corner of the graveyard?
Bloodstain.
Oh, just a bloodstain.
This
Oh,
is just a house.
Okay.
I would like
Oh, that was a
to
hack in the
explore
stump.
this room,
Okay.
and then
It's a bedroom of sorts. The bed is made and looks untouched. There's a pile of furs and pillows next to it, which looks more touched.
Okay.
Uh,
Anything?
the bureau has a couple sets of robes and like breeches, tunics, and then on the desk are papers that have been burned and just small fragments remain.
Okay. I don't suppose mending would work on that.
No.
Okay. All right. Well,
Next to the chest is a longbow and quiver.
really?
Mhm.
Do they look special?
Hmm.
Are
Yeah.
there any glowing auras coming from them?
No.
Althea has a question for Gaius. Gaius, did Ymira open some kind of portal, or are there tunnels underneath this building?
No, there aren't any tunnels.
So she just brought in her undead and then sent them out from this location. How did she bring them in?
She raised them here.
She raised them here. How did she bring them into the city?
This home had a cemetery in the back of it.
Rowan, are you gonna stuff them in the bag?
Yeah. Well, mine.
Oh, you have a bag of holding? Good on you.
No. But I do have something similar. Yeah, but that'll just be the solution once the conversations are done.
Yeah, I don't know if anything else anyone wants to. Anything else?
I mean, Rana is not participating in the conversation, but if she
Yeah.
were, she would be super curious. I think maybe this question's already been asked, but I can't remember. It was just like, why is Ymira here? Like, why Three Rivers? So if anybody else wants to lob that to him.
Ambrose might actually have an answer for that. It with the the mind reading detect thoughts spell, and Ambrose will just say this telepathically to people around him that aren't the skull. There was a thought that loomed large in his mind was the death of all living things.
Great.
So
Okay.
at least from where Ambrose is standing, it looks like it's not necessarily the city that's the goal. It looks like this might just be a crazy undead sort of death cult that just wants to kill everything living.
Okay. All right.
Oh, power.
Okay. Well, while they're thank you, Ambrose, for that.
Yeah.
I am done
Good
here. I'm gonna run to the restroom really quick.
Okay.
And it looks like they're waiting for power to come back. So.
Oh, did they have power go out? I didn't
Yeah.
even see that.
Yeah, the power flickered. I'll also be right back.
Yeah, probably good to just take like 2-3 minutes. I'm back.
I am also back.
I never went anywhere in the first place. Sun
Doesn't seem
Carnival's
like
today.
anything else is going on there, so we will. And I think the next thing on the agenda was just to go back and rest.
Yeah. Did we want to wait for Althea and Johnny to confirm that?
What is up with my game? I can't even see the labels on people's pings.
Huh.
It's illegible.
That's strange.
Mm.
Here's what that looks like. No, if they have anything else, we can just pick it up and just do a retcon.
Okay.
Because we don't know how long it's going to take for their power to restore and all of the computers come back on and
That's true.
get logged back into everything.
Yeah, it didn't take too long last time,
Yeah.
but that's a good point.
Yeah. So yeah, just go ahead and do your long rests if there was nothing else.
I don't. Oh well. Yeah.
All right.
Rana. Well, Rana's not talking to the skull, but
Right now, no one is.
someone
So
should
that's fine.
someone should ask it about. Well, before we leave, someone should ask it if the undead or if the skull knows anything about the halflings that have been targeted.
Yeah.
But I
someone
don't know if anybody will.
Ooh, it's a good call.
But who knows about that?
Althea and Johnny. That's why.
Yes.
Well,
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh, did the rest of us not know that?
No.
well,
Oh.
we all found undead attacking and torturing a halfling.
A single halfling.
Yes, but then Althea and Johnny, I'm pretty sure they said they would have shared that with the party.
Well,
What
I
would,
thought that
I don't
halfling
know.
was just on
It
the wrong
wouldn't
side of the
have.
neighborhood.
what would we have shared with the party?
The what you guys found like rows or not rows, but a row of like halflings in the First Breath Temple or something like that, and then we found undead like attacking a halfling, and we weren't able to save them. So I was just that's been a long time. So if anybody wants to ask this skull if it knows anything about that, could just be an isolated incident, but
Well, I mean, how long has it been in game time? That's only been like 3 or 4 days, hasn't it?
exactly,
Right.
yeah. Which is why I threw it in the chat, because like the characters would remember that, but for us it's been like 4
Months.
months,
Right.
and I have
Yes,
a hard time remembering
please
everything that
restore.
goes on.
God.
Hey,
I
Jacob.
just make it up as I go. Yeah, what's up?
Are gloves like pairs of gloves? Is each glove considered an individual item?
I not sure I understand what you're getting at, but no one can put on a single magic glove and solo glove it like a magical
So
Michael Jackson.
the runes from Rune Knight, it says you can apply them to pieces of armor. Can I put one rune on each glove?
I tried that with Havelock. No.
Wait,
Of course
did you
wasn't a
find
rune knight.
gloves?
I've been wearing gloves this whole time.
Oh, okay.
No, I've tried doing that with Havelock, and he didn't let me do it either. So I'm going to say,
Block wasn't a rune
Well,
knight, so
yeah,
what's
he's
the
applying class
rune?
feature stuff.
yeah, true.
How-
I'm going to say not fair, but plausible. Plausible.
I don't think that does it matter where you put them.
No, but I think it would be cool to have one fist that has a fire rune and one.
Oh yeah, go ahead. That sounds fine. Because again, it doesn't matter. Like it's not important that they are.
No, they apply no benefit to the armor itself.
Right, exactly. That's what I was getting at. Since that doesn't have any impact, then yeah, one on each fist.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna steal his gloves.
Is it across the knuckles?
Yes. Well, okay, so the gloves that they're going on are my gloves of oh, what were they? Lock picking or something? So they're you can't even see that I'm wearing, like, they're invisible to everybody. Gloves of thievery. Yes. While I'm wearing them, they're invisible.
Gloves of thievery. Wow.
That's
They're
great.
just clear gloves.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't the power. It wasn't the gloves that had the plague. It was the fuse box that had the plague.
All right. So, did either Johnny or Althea have anything else that they wanted to accomplish before they left? Because we're just moving on to long resting and next day.
We're gonna burn the house down.
No.
Not necessarily the house. I just wanted to destroy those coffins.
Oh yeah, that's
Okay.
easy.
Yeah, they weren't even finished yet, but okay.
Yeah.
How much of a long rest has to be spent, like, actually,
Yeah,
like,
they'll never
sitting
be
there
finished.
sleeping?
I don't know. Some people get away with like 5 hours of sleep a night. So
Try 2.
Did either Althea or Johnny want to ask the skull about the halflings?
Nope, don't
Since
care.
that was
Johnny's tired.
okay.
Didn't necessarily occur to Althea.
Okay.
Unless one of you mentioned the pile of bones and that there were different species. But by that point, Rowan's probably got Gaius in his bag.
Actually, Alzon, did you see my my message on Discord?
no.
Check your chat. Check your IM,
Then
Please.
please, and thank you. Okay, then never mind. Because Johnny's in that frame of mind.
Probably ask Gaius before he's put away. Who owns this house?
Ymir bought it some time ago. Through a agent. She had the Callow estate installed.
Installed.
Mhm.
And
Needed a staging point.
I see.
When you say that
That's
she
a very good
purchased
argument
it,
to just destroy the house.
we should just tell the city. We
It
just
could be repurposed.
tell whoever's in charge.
We need to make sure there are no further magic traps. Is there anything
The
on the
guild's
bottom floor or stairs that lead to underneath the house?
No, there's nothing under the house.
No basement.
Not
No
this, not
cellar.
here.
Not here. Then where?
Other buildings have basements, I'm sure.
So yeah, Johnny actually gives the werewolf, the undead werewolf, a critical eye for a minute. Pulls out one of his skinning knives and sets to work.
Wow, you want werewolf hide? Undead
Reason.
werewolf hide?
Reasons.
Isn't it
Oh,
just going to
actually-
rot off the... Anyway.
Reminds me. As Rowan takes the skull to put in his bag, the guy says, "Oh, don't forget that knife."
The knife?
Why?
It's special.
Special how?
It's magical. Gives you double proficiency in intimidation.
Really?
Neat.
is that for real? Because Ambrose would like that knife, if that's the case.
Does Ambrose already have proficiency in intimidation?
Yeah, but he said double proficiency.
Right,
Even better.
right. Althea's like, "Oh, I'm not going to covet anything.
Ambrose is covetous shit, so
Yeah,
if nobody
we-
else
we-
wants that knife.
Yeah, so that sounds like everything that need to be done at the house. Long rest and then next day.
Sure.
Yep.
Run
Rana,
next day.
Rana will make sure to inform, because I know her family is still involved in the city, the guild scene, and all that. So she'll make sure that she tells, is Chiron there?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, so she'll tell Chiron. Presumably he can inform the proper channels, get that taken care of. But well, actually, that's assuming that Althea communicated that.
Althea would have shared whatever information we got with everyone.
Okay, cool. So then, yeah, Rana would have told Chiron, apparently this necromancer owns this building, this house.
Not anymore.
We'll have to. He just he'll say that we'll have to look into other possibilities as well if properties are being purchased, but there's a lot of buildings in the city,
Yes.
so that's a tough task.
Right. Right.
But this particular one needs to be repossessed by the city.
Just a trip down the old records department, the county recorder. Okay. So this day, I believe you were going to set off north.
Yeah, to the try to find where the river is being blocked.
To get closer and closer to the north gate, passerby begin to look more closely at you, lingering gazes. Many will smile, and some point and hear them whispering about the heroes of Northgate, and
Oh,
some even approach and try to hug you.
yeah. Rana, don't forget you are
Ambrose signs
you're at zero.
autographs.
You're at 0 exhaustion now.
Yes, thank you. I was just double checking that.
I'm like, we want to give you a hug. Here's an autograph, but okay.
No touchy.
Well, do you have a quill and ink? Because if not, you can use some of my blood. No, none of them offer that. That is not true. Shouldn't have joked about that.
Not with this crowd.
Gosh. Okay.
But yeah, just that happens more and more as you get closer to the gate itself.
I imagine Ambrose probably has like charcoal or something so he can do his eyeliner every morning.
Yeah, that's fair.
Great.
Alice has some ink if you really
hell
want to
yeah.
do autographs.
Anyway, moving on from my dumb bit.
Captain McMullen is just jumping for joy. Basically, he thanks you all, and he mentions that he's going to get a commendation, even though he knows it really wasn't him that was pivotal. And
Johnny listener says you're absolutely right.
Perhaps not pivotal, but still crucial.
He's had the militia that man the gates stack wood and metal next to the battle wagon to take with you to help continue with the repairs and get it up to 100%. There's still some work and some things that can be done to make it more aesthetically pleasing, since a lot of the job that the gnomes did was so just, all right, here's a sheet of metal and now it's welded on. Good job.
Yeah. Johnny will give the captain, critical alliances captain, that commendation that you're receiving. Do us all a favor. Earn it. Do good things for your city.
Blinks at that,
and Johnny's just steely-eyed at him. He's just like, he's not trying to be. Well, he's kind of mad dogging him. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Well, I'll try. It's could have saved more people. It's a shame that those men and women that were lashed to that big bone creature got incinerated, but we do what we can, right? He just returns the stare.
We do what we have to do.
Althea lays a hand on Johnny's shoulder and looks the captain in the eye and fishes the 8-inch statue of the Shield Maiden out of her pouch and presents it to the captain and says, "Captain, when it came to it, you shielded your city. Continue to do so and be blessed."
Nods and accepts.
Yeah.
accepts
Johnny
it.
snaps out of his mood, and he says, "My friend has the right of it, Captain." Indeed.
Yep.
He offers his hand, and he offers his hand.
He hesitates just the barest of moments and then shakes Johnny's hand.
Okay, I'll take it.
There's there's some muttering from some of the soldiers that you can hear whispers about blue-skinned Goliath's ability to just turn the undead's forces against themselves.
Mm-hmm.
He's sort of looking in awe over at Rowan.
Yeah, Rowan doesn't even seem to notice or be bothered by their comments.
Sure, summon a giant centipede from the abyss and nobody notices, but turn a few undead and everybody's losing their minds. It's fine.
Oh, by the way, that centipede, and he points off. There's just the body of the centipede's in the street, and it's dead.
Jeremy, no!
Oh, Jeremy!
Jeremy?
I did this to you, my boy.
Yeah,
Did he get indigestion from those coffins?
I don't really know what that means, but he started to tear chunks of his own flesh out and kind of went crazy. We gave it a wide berth, but it died.
Oh.
Is that how he went home? He goes home, he just eats himself?
Ambrose?
Does that mean you can't summon Jeremy anymore? Is summoning Jeremy a one-time thing?
That is a very good question.
Ambrose, I'm sorry. I'm
Oh,
sorry that
man.
I'm sorry for your loss on your minion.
Rana's
really
not.
Minion, this was my son.
Jeremy, Ambrose, is there a way that we can remove Jeremy from this plane?
Well, normally he would summon
Yeah.
Jeremy. No.
No. I'm thinking of
Yeah.
the tentacle pit.
Right.
The arms of wrath.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, should I?
No, I wouldn't. Not in a populated area, dude.
Yeah, that's probably a bit.
They're heroes! Oh my god!
If I can say a few last words. Jeremy died as you lived, hungry, and yeah, I'm over it.
Violently.
Captain, I strongly suggest that you get some priests out here with holy water.
Lots of it, like gallons.
Yes.
Oh, look.
And then put what's left to the flames.
Yeah. Pit fiend.
Oh. Well, haven't gone wrong listening to you guys yet, so.
Or, hear me out, better idea, instead of wasting a giant centipede that's like maybe touched from the void, holy water, probably a good idea. Just put him in the compost or something. Probably good fertilizer. No need to burn it.
It's aberrant.
Except
It's
for
an
that
aberration.
graveyard.
Oh, now Ron is throwing around hurtful words again. You see,
No,
this is
no, that's a
just
different
what I'm
word. That
talking
is
about.
just what it's classified as. It is an aberration.
You know a lot of words that start with A and are very insensitive. This is why I keep saying we need some sort of monster HR at this point. If I'm gonna keep doing this,
Althea is trying very hard not to laugh out loud.
aberration, just throw it in the river. The
That's
river will take
Johnny's.
care of it.
That's Johnny's save versus bursting out laughing at this. So,
I
yeah,
thought we were
What
trying to keep
kind of save was
aberrations
that?
away from the river.
wisdom.
The river
yeah.
will burn it up. The river is specifically anti-aberration.
Oh,
That's true. We can
and that's
also
a good river.
throw it into the river. That's fine.
Yeah.
That might be a bad idea. Do we really want to
Every
taint the
serves
water
purpose.
for the people downstream?
It won't be tainted. The river
Aberrations
legitimately just like melts it because it's an
aberrations
aberration.
try to get into the river from time to time. They never last.
If anything, it's just going to add flavor. It's like mixing a spoonful of sugar into your coffee.
Oh gosh.
Hey, Rana, nice buckler.
Oh. Useful
Hardly know her.
for arching? While arching for 1 Ooh. Oh. Rana gives him a bow and says thank you. And
Meanwhile,
That's a family heirloom.
Althea takes Ambrose by the elbow and walks him
Wait.
a couple of feet off.
Did he say a family heirloom?
Yeah, I don't. Not much of an archer myself.
I know I don't want to take up too much time like in the session necessarily, but if Rana hears that it's a family heirloom, she's going to want the story. So,
Okay, yeah, I can give that to you.
yeah, like she would step aside with him and like want to hear about that, the history, that kind of thing, and then because that to her is a really big honor. So she would probably bow again, much lower this time, and then yeah.
Meanwhile, Althea and Johnny will take Ambrose off to the side and say, "All right, look, we got to figure out a way to get rid of the corpse. Come on."
It's fine. It'll probably just turn into smoke eventually or something. All things return to the void, yada yada.
Yeah, but right now it's in the middle of the street, so what are we going to do about it?
I don't know, get a better street.
Wow. Ambrose, your cave dwelling is showing.
They should have thought about that when they built the street there.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
This street
Rowan,
is not.
whose side are you on?
This street is not zoned for void
Rowan
monsters.
clearly wouldn't say something like that.
Apparently, he did.
All right.
Well, again, though, I think the guards can just chuck it in the river. It'll be fine. The river will take care of it.
Yeah.
The river. Wow, you just don't understand anything about water pollution, do you?
Water pollution, schmotter pollution. It's fine.
wait, what?
It's water.
She does, but she also knows that this river is magical and is literally designed to purify aberrations.
Well, she never shared that with us before, now did she?
Oh,
She just said
I
it
thought.
like 3
Shared
times.
that like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, I missed that.
Also,
There were
it
other
was
voices.
no, it's okay. Also, we got some of the information about the creation of the whorl that Timon sent us.
Yeah.
So
This all happened while we were incommunicado.
oh no, that's in the role play.
Right, some of it was in the chat, but yes.
Yeah, but it's all good. No, it's fine. But yeah, Rana will explain that. It's literally designed to purify aberrant.
all right. Just keep Captain, just keep an eye on it because we asked the centipede to eat a couple of coffins that had vampire grave dirt in them. So if the vampires want to come home to roost in the corpse, that might be an issue.
Yeah, that's all
The
sounds
coffins are
like
probably like,
my normal day-to-day stuff.
you know.
That's around.
Johnny claps the captain on the shoulder, camaraderie, and he says, "Welcome to the show."
Yep.
He smiles at him.
All right.
Do you-
Yeah. So, is there
Nope.
anything else?
Nope, we're heading out.
Heading out.
do you
Gonna-
think
Gonna head to Waffle House.
The old.
I
I
could
hate
convince
Waffle
this
House.
guy that as penance I need his firstborn son?
Nope.
No.
My gosh.
No. You need waffles. Void waffles
Wait, waffles.
with bugs on them. Because it's a Waffle House. They've got bugs. Trust me on this one.
How
And
do
aberration syrup.
That's fair.
Aberration syrup. Oh, God.
No likey.
No likey.
Okay, so you pile into the wagon and set off. Starts rolling down the road.
Is this a battle wagon or is this like an actual just prairie wagon?
It's
Battle wagon.
empty.
Okay. Wasn't sure because I didn't know that it was fixed yet. I
Yep.
was still under process. Okay.
So it starts rolling away. There's a bump as it rolls over part of Jeremy.
Oh
And
my
then
God.
continues north.
Man.
Poor Jeremy.
Can't get any breaks.
Jeremy was a good centipede. He was a good void monster, and he
Wasn't
fought
good at playing
well
fetch.
on our behalf. What, just because he didn't bring things back? We didn't want him to bring things back. That's a great game of fetch, if you ask me.
Fairly stated. So many
Alright.
days were we driving?
It's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
Are we just fast forwarding to that point?
Kind of. Could.
Can I
Uh,
make can I make 4 defined intervention rolls?
No.
Ah,
So-
damn it.
You trundle
But we
along.
all got long rests, right?
Yeah, you had. Oh, right. You guys were powered off. You should long rest if you haven't. You trundle along, and after a few hours
What
of
the
travel,
heck?
maybe early afternoon.
It just minused my hit point max instead of bringing my hit points back up.
You got no love right there.
Well, that's not how it's supposed to work.
It's so weird.
Did
Yeah,
you
she went
accidentally
from
press
100
level down?
Yeah, I went from like that was weird. Okay, thank you. You fixed it. I appreciate
Recovering
that.
negative hit points is never what you want.
Right. What?
So yeah,
the
it
heck?
trundles along. The next village is a little town called Hanging Stone. It's one of those. Well, we're about a day's ride out from the city, so I'm gonna set up a small like way station here, and then someone else comes along and builds another building. And it's like, I'm gonna live here too because you serve ale, and we could sell stuff to the travelers. And so those sort of places that just sort of crop up.
It's like how Santa Cruz Valley became to be. Okay.
Unfortunately, it looks like this has seen better days, as most of it has been smashed and or burnt to the ground.
So
See,
Corona.
Ooh.
yeah, there's a
Wow.
2-story building that's still mostly intact, though the southern wall is collapsed, and partially exposed room can be seen on that second floor.
Uh-huh.
There's a hanging off near the front door of this building is a stone on a rope. And
so.
there is a intact building next to the river with a short pier coming off of it. You can see blood, dried blood all over the floor, but no bodies. When I say floor, the ground, the trail.
Any
And
people?
nope, no bodies. You don't see anyone. The only thing you see that's moving is a small, like silver-furred cat with one milky eye, and he stares at the wagon as it approaches. You can also see a keep on a hill about a few hundred feet away from the village. It also looks like it's been damaged.
Did Displacer Kitty ever show back up again?
Nope.
Oh,
Sad.
sadness. All right. Leave Milky Eyed Kitty alone and let's just keep going to our destination. This place is not our business.
Is it drawing near nightfall? Do we want to go see if there's anyone at the keep and perhaps
This place is not our business.
stay for the night?
Probably got raised by the undead army.
Johnny slaps the interior hull wall of the battle wagon. Says, "Comfy, armored, secure." And he just lays back, uses his arms for a pillow, and just starts snoozing.
So you continue past, just driving on through, and trundle along.
Well, that's
The
just me. Is anybody else want to cause problems here? I mean, I don't want to speak for the group. I'm just speaking for myself.
That's fair, but I have
Yeah,
opportunity to tell me no.
I don't hear anybody.
If there is anyone
it-
up at the keep, perhaps, and if the keep's only 100 feet away, come on, that's not even the length of a football field.
No, but it's actually 1/3 of a football field.
Exactly.
Yeah, this one's
Out-
more like 2 2/3 the length of a football field.
Outside of the protective hull of our battle wagon, inside of which Johnny is sleeping. Go for it.
Yeah, this may make me sound like a bad hero, but it looks like pretty much everything we could do here has already been done. And it looks like pretty much everyone we could have helped here has either been like super murdered or murdered and turned into an undead, most than
It does
likely.
sound like everything we could do here has been done.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly
caught
what
that
I was
too,
thinking.
huh?
Thank you.
Yeah, I heard that. I was like, wow. Everything here is burned, blown up, burned out, or broken. My work is done.
I mean, well,
I mean, it's Ambrose
burning
after
is
all.
more your area of expertise. I don't really burn stuff. I'm more like send stuff away to
It's like
other
daylight.
planes.
It's daylight. That's all it is.
What I'm saying is, I don't really think we can help here. It would be better if we got to the head of this snake and cut it off, and then probably burned it and sent it into the void or something.
Hey, understand, and Althea will have already shared this with everyone, that the Ymera is actually a bit further away than she conveyed very bluntly. And she was very blunt at the end of the battle. She was kind of short with what she said, but it's a ways away.
How far?
Fortnite.
I don't know, Alizon, you tell me. It leagues and leagues.
At least a fortnight, yeah.
So
Okay.
20 days.
28? No, 14.
At
20
least.
days.
A fortnight. A fortnight is 20 days, right?
I thought
No,
a fortnight was
fortnight is
14.
14.
No.
A score is 20.
Thank you. Thank you.
A score of fortnights away.
I said correct.
Okay, a score of
fortnights. Oh, I said-
fortnights is 40 weeks, so
Yep.
that's most of a year.
I will get plenty of rest in.
No, I'm not going. If it's going to take a year, I'm not
Oh.
going.
You continue along, dozing and passing the time with idle conversation. The night comes and passes. Continue on in the next morning. The next town, one called Pebble Creek, is of similar state as the previous. It's been damaged, and many of the structures are either partially or fully collapsed. There's a small tower on a hill that's in the that's adjacent to the river front. It looks intact, but nothing's moving.
Althea's bothered by this. She is actually going to get out of the wagon and start shouting to see if anybody's around.
While
show-
the wagon's still moving?
Just leap
Or
out.
does she ask
Sure,
Thomas
she
to stop?
Duck and roll.
She can sprint and catch
Good
up.
roll.
I don't know.
This is important for my game mechanic. Would that have been another long rest or not?
Yes.
Thank you.
We can stop for 10 minutes.
Funny aside. I was a paperboy for a few years, and every once in a while, my father would drive us all on our route, like if he had a day off or something, just to make it easier for us. And we had walk-up deliveries where we were supposed to deliver it like to the front door.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he forgot about one, and I just jumped out of the side of the van.
Oh no.
Yeah. Hit
Tuck
the
and
ground
roll?
and rolled a bit. I did not
Yeah.
tuck and roll. I just hit the ground and rolled.
Flopped and rolled.
There
Wow.
was no tucking.
Oh no. Oh no. Hopefully it
Oh.
wasn't lasting
Ain't
damage.
No,
shit, bro.
probably not. I think
That
I'm
shows commitment. Put that on your resume.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. Will do bodily harm to get the job done. To self.
Will jump
Wow.
out of moving vehicle.
That's great.
So Althea gets out and calls there's no return call. Can't hear anything. No
Marco.
cries of pain or shouts of help in response. It's just quiet.
If there's no response, she'll get back in the wagon and we can go.
Continue along. After resting the night, you head towards Westbriar, which is the capital city of the duchy. So that's another long rest for Johnny.
Thank you very
Capital
much.
City is a bustling location, not unlike Three Rivers, but much smaller in stature. It's roughly, it's probably less than half the size of Three Rivers, actually. As it is a more secure area, you could head into the city. Doesn't look like they were assaulted at all. In fact, if you ask, they'll kind of bewildered responses of no undead here.
How does the river look?
Lower
Oh,
than
yeah.
it should.
Be keeping an eye on the river.
Yeah. Lower than it should, but
Alright.
it's still flowing.
Okay.
They do not allow the battle wagon to enter the city for the same reasoning as Three Rivers. It's just too big and will crush buildings or people, and they can't handle the insurance claims.
So we need to drive around the river or around the city to the north gate.
Democrats.
Yeah.
Do they
So-
have a north gate?
Well, I mean, you just continue along the way. So after resting, you can take the wagon around the city and continue north. North Highcombe is within the day's travel. When you arrive, you find that it's suffered a similar fate as the other small villages. It's bisected by a rivulet that comes from the east that joins the Gresham River. On the south side of this, you can see that there's destroyed buildings, piles of rubble. You see bodies with bloodstains and also skeletal forms and more putrefied, like fleshy zombie bodies, presumably. So whatever happened in the previous villages failed to happen here because you didn't find any bodies in those. On the north side of this rivulet, across a footbridge, you can see intact buildings having suffered no damage at all.
Okay.
Hmm.
There are
And we
people on the north side of the city.
You can see a man at the edge of the footbridge looking at the wagon.
Johnny's intention is to go over to him and question him politely about what happened in the south side. Anyone wish to join him?
Yeah, sure. All right.
Yeah. I'm going.
Why not?
Remember, the key phrase here is politely.
Okay.
Oh, I assumed that the keyword was
Okay.
intends politely.
And the footbridge is not is not big or strong enough to hold the hoopty, I assume.
No, but there's probably if you walk the stretch of the rivulet a little bit, you'd almost certainly find a spot that's shallow enough. It's not a
Okay.
very wide river that's like 15, maybe only 10 feet in some places. Yeah.
Okay, Tonist, I will stay with you if we want to take the hoopty to the north side.
Sure. Fine with me.
All right. So Althea will walk, Tonist will drive, or Liger will drive. And we'll go find a ford.
That's 2 phases of movement for me.
Wait, we might not need to find a ford.
Why?
Well, if this is just a rivulet, like the tank might not need to cross onto like the little island, right? Because the main river is still blocking the blight from this little island, right?
So this little rivulet bisects north and south. It's not like an island. So at some point you'd have to either cross it or go around it.
Yep, we can't keep going north unless we cross the rivulet.
Is that accurate, Jacob? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, I guess I misunderstood. My bad.
Yeah, so Johnny heads towards the footbridge. The man just stands there watching.
And when Johnny will get to the southern foot of the footbridge, he'll stop there and says, "Hello."
You're a bit far away.
Well, I wanted to. May I come closer?
You can't cross the bridge, but you can step on it.
Okay. Why can't I cross it? Just out of curiosity.
First, don't want you to fall victim.
To
The bridge is cursed?
No, this side. So just stay on that side and you'll be fine. Don't come all the way over.
okay. What? Well, he looks behind him at the devastation. It would seem that this side's cursed.
Oh yeah, we showed those skelly men the what for.
What happened here, sir? By the way, my name is Johnny Gloria. Good to meet you.
Oh, yeah, my name's Jokin.
Pleasure. What happened here?
Oh, bunch of undead attacked.
It looks beyond him to the side of the river. It looks untouched, right?
On the north side, yeah.
Yeah. What kept it on this side of the river?
We did, and he flexes and pats his muscle.
Like this guy.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Jacob. Really quick, can I roll an insight to see, like, I don't feel like the island is actually like cursed.
There's no island.
Like, is it? I'm sorry. Then I don't understand what we're looking at.
Okay, so there's land and there's a river that goes through it, and there's one side of the land and the other side.
But it's not like a delta.
And then
It's not...
that river hits the Grecian River. But it's not an island.
It's not surrounded on all sides, right? It's not like a delta.
Yeah. It starts northeast somewhere and it comes down to this point where it hits the Grecian.
Oh, that river is not on any of the maps, I don't think.
No, it's just a small. It's like it's only 10 feet wide in some place. It's not worthy of a map.
Okay.
Notation.
Some might say it's more of a creek.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, there's like Rana's just not buying it that there's a curse. So
yeah, cursed.
Well, no, can I? No, whatever. Never mind.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you were saying that to me.
Yes.
Okay.
So do you want to roll an insight? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, go ahead.
If that, yeah. I was trying to explain like what I was looking for and if an insight check would be appropriate because
Yeah, what do
I
you
just don't think. It sounds like a story that they tell people to keep strangers away.
Okay.
Huh?
That's the vibe that I'm getting. So that's what I don't think it's actually true.
He's very... There's no sense of distress or what you might expect for someone who presumably was attacked by undead within the last couple days and
Or
lived
is
through
living
it.
under a curse.
And while he is like jovial and easily like speaks easily, there's an underlying sense of like anger you can hear in his tone.
Interesting.
Mm.
Okay.
So, do your people on that side need any assistance of any kind?
Oh no, we're all fine here.
Well, a couple of us are clerics of our various faiths. So if there's
Oh,
anyone who needs help, let us know. We're here for that.
no,
Sorry,
nothing like that.
how do I PM in Forge?
It's
Slash username and then
/W space username.
W space. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so what's this curse?
Let's see. Oh, well, he sort of points off behind him, and you can see. Actually, yeah. So he's going to head towards you, and he says, "Come here, I'll show you." And he passes you and walks over here, and he points off in a direction. You can see this hill that
as he
has
passes, do I get anything shady off of him?
Make a perception check.
Depends on how tall he is.
Ah,
Where the
fair.
sun is.
Fairly stated.
Oh my god.
he points to a small hill that has this strange purplish growth pulsing on top of it. And when I say it's a small hill with a growth, like the growth itself has to be 30 feet tall.
It's like a
And
separating wound.
let's see here. Something like 100 feet across.
Damn.
It says that thing. It's don't want to step foot on the north side because you'll. And he just makes a like a knowing gesture of like doom.
So stepping on the north side does something with that thing and it curses you?
Oh yeah.
What's the curse?
Well, he ponders a little too long and says, "It'll force you to stay here."
Like how? Like here how?
Oh, in the village. Yeah.
Where's here?
Yeah.
Are you technically still in the village?
Yeah. Look. And says if you leave the area, then it'll eat you from the inside out.
That doesn't. What? How? How does it eat you if you're leaving?
Yeah, it's just how it works.
Well, now I'm interested.
Hmm.
It's in your flesh, in your body.
So why is the river, like, why is this side safe? Like, look, how many feet is this? Like 25, 30 feet? How is like just crossing the river keep us safe from being infected by the curse?
Is there something in the water?
Not this river.
You sure?
Pretty sure.
Right.
It's not the Grecian.
He scratches his chin. Look, I'm gonna level with you. We just don't want you around here.
Okay, yeah, that's what I figured. It sounds like you're hiding something. Why don't you want us around? Just out of curiosity.
Johnny, when she says that, Johnny's kind of guffaws a bit and shakes his head and just like, have at. He just hangs back and waits. Your show.
Well, the last time strangers came in, They killed our priests and took over our is it temple? Yeah, word.
Interesting.
What's your temple? What was your temple dedicated to?
Temple was to the Siphon, who's the god of death. Says, can't have life without death. And while it's a bit more of a morbid um, religion, certainly has its place.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, are they still here?
The people?
The ones who took over, are they still here?
No, they killed the priest and left.
When did this happen?
Ooh.
It's a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Can you describe the people at all?
He says that there was yeah. So there was a man, not big as this guy over here. He points at Rowan, but he's quite tall for a human, and he went around a bald scar on his face. There's two of them think they were siblings. That they, one of them called him Simon. I think he was the leader of the group. And then,
so they all did what Simon says?
Nah.
I believe they did. To right you.
Oh my god.
Okay, well, just curious. Sorry, Tara, you were on mute and we thought the same thing at the same time.
Okay. Does that match any descriptions of like maybe masks people?
No.
Okay.
No one, he says that
Bald
Simon
with
was
scar.
a smaller fellow, and he kind of he keeps a very close cropped goatee, very well groomed.
Okay, and that doesn't sound like anybody we've encountered. Not sure why they would be this far north, but well, we know Mask was up here.
It's Havelock and his raiding party.
Real quick, Omega and Tara, are you wanting to come back on the north side of the river?
I'll be right back, guys.
I'm checking with him on that. So, Donist, what do you want to do? Because we can either cross and go direct to the mast, or we can cross and come down, assuming that our team has already crossed the footbridge.
Do we see a way to cross ahead of us?
Yeah, there's after traveling along the river, find a place. You can see that it's more shallow in this area. And
I have no objections to just keep heading north and crossing there.
So we cross and just head for the mass.
Oh, I see the problem. We should figure out what they're doing, I suppose, before we do anything. Is it shallow enough that the battle wagon could cross there as well?
Yes. That's the whole idea. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah.
So cross and head back toward the footbridge, figuring we're going to pick up the rest of the team because naturally they'd be across already.
Of course.
We're sure that they are crossing though?
Sure.
No.
Okay. Oh yeah, we don't know that there's a problem. Yeah, that's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah, you guys coming back in the tank will actually probably be helpful. Be like, all right, we're leaving, so we're gonna cross this bridge and then bye.
Pretty much.
Okay. Yeah. So gives you a little bit more details. Says that Simon has a well-groomed goatee, and that who he thinks is his brother is a slight man. He thinks he's sort of a book-learned mage type.
Huh. Okay. Well, that sucks. Did they tell you like what they were doing this for?
They ransacked the goods, took all the offerings and tithes and whatnot.
Okay, so these guys are just assholes.
Yeah. While they're keeping him engaged in conversation, Johnny is slowly sidling across strolling across the bridge. From where he is right now, what can I see over on the other side?
There's a couple. Yeah, so you see the intact buildings. This is like a stable.
Mm-hmm.
There, a larger building off to the right, with like lines of crops behind it. Let's see, what else would you have noticed? A lone tree stump that's sits here,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, you've only seen what, that man and 4 other people milling about. They don't seem to be doing anything. They're just sort of there.
Okay. No one's stopping him. I mean, he's in conversation. Johnny's going to set foot on the other side.
You can hear a whinny of a horse, but it sounds very phlegmy and kind of makes your spine shiver from the stable.
Head over in that direction.
Okay. And Rana's not
and-
getting any. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Stable's there, right?
Yep.
Okay. Because it's blocked. I just get this. I'm standing right in front of it, but I can't see it on my map.
Yeah, that's the so the stable faces upwards, so like you're looking at the side wall of it.
I just get this big black blotch, but okay.
Yep. Yeah, because you're standing next to a wall.
There we go. Okay.
Okay, so you step in front and look inside, and there's a horse with just flat orange eyes, and this like drippy, what is it, muzzle, just dripping in like black goop.
Mm-hmm.
It whinnies and snotty material just flies out,
You're not well.
and it tries to bite you.
That's deeply unpleasant.
That's very unpleasant.
So it's a horse of an Osgul.
Yeah.
Kind of. So it
Bless you.
yeah misses by snipping the armor, and that's
Alright.
probably where we should end it. Since
Sure.
we're gonna be an initiative.
Yep.
But
Initiative with a horse.
Oh no! I think
Wow.
we
We're
have
about-
a bit of a fight on our hands.
Yep.
Yeah.
the man that Rana is talking to, his back explodes and a tentacle streaks out of it. Out in the field near Althea, that man has his sort of arm breaks apart into various tentacle-like things. Let's see.
Aberrations for everyone.
Why are Tonist and Liger and the tank not with me?
I'll put the tank on the. He's probably with you there. I'll put the tank on the what's it, the mat next, and before next session.
Okay, no
So
worries.
my question is, Rhonda, why didn't you foresee this, you Miss Aberration Magnet person?
So that's an active sense. Her grave sense is passive. She has to actively meditate to sense the aberrations.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Ambrose would like it on the record. Not my fault.
This wasn't me.
Hey,
I
Tara.
don't know.
Yeah.
Not
Nathan
my
Wine
tentacles.
got married.
What?
Nathan Wine got married.
Jesus, fuck! How
Sorry,
it was a child.
this
it was
kid,
a child.
This kid was like 12 when we met him, and he just got married. Anyway, sorry about that, guys.
Oh, wow.
More like 8. Sorry. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Age happens.
Okay, so the weird aberrant people are here
Yes,
for some reason.
yes. And I'm facing down against their boss, the horse.
The aberrations are on this side of the Grecian River, but also not south of the rivulet.
Oh, he crossed it. He did cross the little river.
Oh, fun.
Because there's a bridge.
Push him into the water. Well, no, that water's... He's probably not going to care about that water. If we could push him into the Grecian, he'd be less happy.
Is this
Maybe.
question to ask? Is this a tributary of the Grecian?
No,
And does it flow from or to?
no.
Okay.
Flows
think-
to it. It flows
I think
to it.
earlier he mentioned it flows to the Grecian.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
So it is
I
a
missed that.
Whatever,
tributary.
like
I missed that part.
magical
Thank you.
bath bombs they're throwing into the Grecian to make it anti-aberrant, I don't think this will be applying.
Let's get giggles in here.
Oh, yes. Sorry, tributary. Correct.
Okay.
It is a tributary, but it's not part of the magical boundary.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
It just
Alright.
feeds
Well,
water,
okay.
not magic.
Mhm.
Okay.
Good times, guys.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
There we go.
Alright. Well, I hope everybody has a wonderful week.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah.
Oh,
We all
oh yeah,
know-
Valis and Steven.
I just hope it's less
Oh,
stressful.
yeah,
than
where's
the
my boy?
basketball stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Your boy. Your boy.
My boy.
He goes, "Oh my god!"
So whose boy is
Ambrose,
Steven?
Ambrose's latest bad decision.
Wow.
It's dude, it's gonna come back on you. I love you like food, but it's gonna come back on you. We know this.
There's a joke
Okay,
here, but I'm
one
gonna leave it.
very
What?
strange saying to use with me, Mr. E. Stevens.
Oh my god.
You never
Who?
heard that saying? Yeah.
I have never heard that saying, and
No.
I've been married to you for, a while now.
Hold on, continue. The 2.
Who?
Yeah.
This one's not a demon.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, but is it evil?
90%.
Would you tell
90.
us
No.
if he was? Because last time the answer was no.
I
Wait,
mean, is
what?
evil really a problem?
Ambrose, roll for versus learning from your past mistakes.
Wow.
I mean, it's a matter
be
of
wisdom.
perspective, really. I do some shit that people would probably consider evil.
We consider it useful. We love you for it.
Exactly.
Hey, you do you.
Yeah.
We will just, be over
I
here
mean,
taking
you-
notes.
if you did, then you wouldn't have the Thaddeus problem.
True. If he did himself rather than Thaddeus.
Wow.
See,
All roads
Alright.
lead to Ambrose's
Well.
junk.
Man. I'll be on Xbox in like 2 hours if you guys want to hang out. I'll catch you later.
Take it easy, brother.
Later on.
Bye.
not picking on you.